Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Instep, punch. Left, haste. Forward, punch.
Amazing are our students. Thank you all so much for being here tonight at this momentous occasion. Sean Goldman, we planned all this for your birthday tonight. So happy birthday. And of course, Jenny Goldman, your birthday's tomorrow, so this is for you too. So double celebration. Dr. Jason Peplinski, to the stage, please. A few seconds to get up here. He knows the route. And here we are. This event up tonight, Jason, your night, where we celebrate you with some honorary civics awards. And we're going to get started with our partners from Mayor Mashburn's office, Elaine Lidster and Dee Kavanaugh.
Dee, I think you need to come up here. It's important. Everybody else is standing backstage, but I can invite her up. Jason, this is exciting. But I did not get the memo tuxedo black sequins. I'm sorry. I see that you're
Secret Service.
certainly do well. Actually, do you mind if I read this? Is that all right? Just because I don't ever get to, I usually don't want to read the whole resolution, but this is so, it says such lovely things, and you're such a lovely person, period, hands down. I'm emotional, I'm going to read this with my glasses, don't get me. Whereas Dr. Jason Peplinski joined the Simi Valley Unified School District in 2004, beginning his career with the district as the assistant principal of Royal High School, and Whereas Dr. Peplinski later served as principal of Abraham Lincoln School in Sydney, 2004-2007, Moore Park High School, 2007-2009, and then Santa Susana High School, 2011-2013. And whereas in 2013, Dr. Peplinski accepted the position of Director of Educational Services at the district and promoted in 2014 to Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Is this all accurate? And in October of 2014 agreed to serve as the district superintendent for the Simi Valley Unified School District. And whereas during Dr. Peplinski's tenure, he served as a board member for the Moore Park College Foundation and the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce, and currently serves as the vice chair of the Tri-Counties Education Coalition. And whereas in 2019, Dr. Peplinski was awarded the Region 13 Superintendent of the Year from the Association of California School Administrators, ACSD. And I'm gonna add, isn't that amazing? Jason, I'm gonna get to write this, because if I got to write this, I would have said, and whereas he has the inspiration to inspire everybody, and whereas he has the inspiration to transform our school district into a place of beauty. Everywhere you go, it is beautiful and inspiring because of your efforts. And whereas you unconditionally love every student, every faculty, every person who is somehow connected with this wonderful education of learning, whereas you are just an amazing person, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Simi Valley that it hereby commends Dr. Jason Peplinski for his outstanding and valued service to the families of Simi Valley, and on the occasion of his retirement, which are sad about, extends him, wait, that wasn't in there, I'm sorry. Extends him, but we like you, honey, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. And on the occasion of his retirement, extends him its thanks, appreciation, and very best wishes, presented the 12th day of May 2022. Mayor Keith Mashburn and the rest of us have signed this, and we love you. Thank you, Jason.
But wait, there's more. From the office of Assemblywoman Valladares, Anthony Angelini.
Hi, my name is Anthony Angelini, whereas I'm here representing Assemblywoman Valladares. The Assemblywoman couldn't make it here today, but she did order this amazing resolution. She said, Dr. Peplinski is retiring. We have to make a reso for Dr. Peplinski. And I said, bless you. On behalf of the Assemblywoman, congratulations. It takes a lot to get me to go back to a high school. And you're definitely the type of person that deserves this. So congratulations on behalf of the State Assembly. I'd like to present this to you.
From the Honorable Bob Huber's office, Catherine Errett and Chelsea Smith.
Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Smith and this is Catherine Errett, and we work for Ventura County Board of Supervisors, Bob Huber's office. We just really wanted to thank you for all of the work you've done in SEME. I know Catherine and I both remember you from Moore Park. We're both Moore Park High alums, but you know, just the work, just reading through this, everything you've done in SEME is just, it's outstanding. And I know you and I have worked together over the last couple of years during the pandemic, and just the work and the comfort that you have given to the parents and even our office with just kind of helping everybody navigate through this unprecedented time is just, it's amazing. I'm going to just keep using that word because it really is, and you were just such a place of comfort for everybody. You helped everybody through everything. We just really appreciate it, and we're really going to miss you. You know, we're excited to work with you, but you know, I'm like, I have to say it's not all about, but just we're gonna miss you, and we just wish you the best in your retirement, and we look forward to seeing you still around town. So thank you.
Oh, no pressure at all following Jason. Okay, from Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District, board members Brian Dennert and Elaine Freeman, and District Manager Dan Pernick.
I wasn't really nervous till about a minute ago. So we want to thank you for your partnership with the Park District. I don't know as educators if there's been any controversy the last few years, but we've been dealing with pickleball and tennis, and it's been really tense. So you helped solve that problem. We opened up Apollo Fields. You helped solve that problem. The pool's functioning, and that partnership is successful too. As a teacher, you inspired me when you were at Royal High School. I've been happy every step along the way to follow in your leadership and to learn from you and follow along. So I appreciate that part. We have this for you. We spent our budget on a really big plaque. And we do also have free parking at all of our parks. So congratulations.
Picture time? I could have taken it for you, Mr. Dennett. And one more from the Simi Valley PTSA Council, President Lori Machine, and Historian and Awards Chair Elise Sherman.
I have my Vanna White here. Does anybody else have a Vanna White with them? Dr. Peplinski, in your years as superintendent of Simi Valley Unified, you have led and worked tirelessly to make our district the best it could be for the children of Simi Valley. From facility and technology upgrades throughout to navigating the challenges of the pandemic and maintaining the best educational options available to our students, all has been a direct result of your leadership, vision, and commitment to our city's children and their families. Your commitment to passionately advocating for the education and well-being of children deserves acknowledgement. On behalf of all PTA members, it is my personal privilege to present you with the National PTA Life Achievement Award for your great efforts to improve the lives of America's youth. This is the highest recognition bestowed by PTA, and it is given only to those who have demonstrated exemplary service in support of children. As of today, you are a member of a most distinguished group of advocates of children. Congratulations, and thank you for your years of extraordinary contributions to the lives of children.
Thank you, ladies. And Jason, that's it for now. Okay. And here we go. There's more.
Ron, why couldn't you have stayed calm for once instead of flying off the handle? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
Well, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition.
Ronnie, listen to me. Just say you're sorry. You can still work with Jason. What you've worked and waited for, you can have all you ever wanted.
I know, but I don't want it. No, I can't want it anymore. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
Delusions of grandeur? First of all, who walks out here on stage in a tux and pink and then tries to act like he's the good witch? Who really has delusions of grandeur tonight here?
Me?
Okay, we'll take it. And
I
I'm
still
sorry.
think it's you.
I'm sorry too. That's part of it.
That's
So,
okay, Ronnie. So, couple things. I can't see anybody out there, so I don't know if that's a laugh track or what's going on out there. But
sounds like I Love Lucy or something like that.
I hope assembly line doesn't start. So Jason made us promise that we would not roast him. He was very concerned about that. So, Ron, if I ever start with, remember that time Jason, just stop me. Because there's a lot of times.
Can we just say, I'm sorry?
I don't know. Can Jason say I'm sorry?
Well, the first thing we want to remind is we do have a number of awards to hand out tonight. And as we hand out awards, all of you recipients of awards, please remember this is like a board meeting. You only have, actually, in Simi Valley Unified School District, you have 4 minutes to make your comments. And that includes you, too, Jason. So, who said a heckler gets to join the party? But I do want to start by saying, you know, every good story has a good ending. But here in the Simi Valley Unified School District, you want to take that one step further. Every great story has a great ending, and tonight the story is going to have a great ending. So thank you very much, Dr. Jason Peplinski, for all you have done for us.
Thank you, Ron. Very nice. So before we get started, I would like to take the opportunity to thank everybody who is responsible for putting this night together. I know it has it in the program, but the job of the Santa Susana High School management team and crew has been outstanding. The students from all the schools, outstanding, and the cabinet and all the work that they did to put this on was amazing. And it's not easy trying to hide things from Jason. When we had it up on the screen, we had to close the drapes in the conference room, and all of a sudden he would still pop in. What are you talking about? Because I don't know how well you guys really know Jason, but he likes to be a little bit in control. Oh, there I go, Ron. You told me you were going to stop me.
I'm sorry.
So we worked real hard to work around that. But thank you to all of you for being here. I know that you all mean a lot to Jason, are very special to him. And just watching him mingle outside, it was very easy to tell. He was very touched and very appreciative that you are here. So if I have a hard time with I'm not used to using a microphone, as you can tell outside. I'm used to just talking, but I'll give it a shot. Exit, stage right.
Uptown, you cater to a million jerks. Uptown, your messengers and mailroom clerks. Eating all your lunches at the hot dog carts. The bosses take your money and they break your...
you so much. That was, of course, I Can't Stop Loving You, because we all feel that way. And the second song was Coconut Champagne, and although I haven't had that, it sounds like a great retirement drink to me, and I hope you can enjoy plenty of them. So thank you so much. Love you.
What's up? As we're standing back there, we figured out what to do at board meetings for public comments, and that was to dim the board so they couldn't be seen, because it's really uncomfortable talking to a dark audience. So we figured that's for you, Hani, though. Not.
I guess I really don't need these glasses. I can't see anything anyway.
So. Well, trying to be secretive and intelligent as we are, as we've designed this, we've had to talk about planning for DJP, standing for Dr. Jason Peplinski. So tonight we...
Well, wait a minute. Don't forget, the first time we brought that up, people in cabinet were like, what's DJP?
So tonight we have a number of DJP awards. And our first award tonight is the DJP Award for Sage Advice.
So, Ron, sage advice is close to my heart because I was once told that I gave out sage advice.
Now, where in the world would that have occurred?
I was working in a liquor store, and I gave out a lot of sage advice to people when they were buying their adult beverages.
Actually, my friend Dan Houghton here is quite humble. Not only was he known for giving out sage advice, he was in the local Thousand Oaks paper about, well, we could say the liquor store. It was somewhere on Teal Boulevard, but it was said that he gave sage advice at the liquor store there. So, true story.
I gave out a lot of free things for her to write that story. So, our DJP Award for Sage Advice has been a role model for Jason for years. He aspires, and he has aspired to lead like her. He really has appreciated her support thus far in his career, because we're fully expecting for that support and advice to keep coming to him and helping him in his retirement planning. Hoping that she can help Jason adjust to retirement life or not. Jason's really not good at sitting around. So,
and neither is this individual. I don't know if retirement has actually happened for this individual.
So Jason adores what she stands for, the DJP Award for Sage Advice. You have the envelope?
That'd be envelope, please.
Do you got the envelope? Don't forget, I'm a redneck. Okay.
Thank you.
And the winner of the DJP Award for Sage Advice, Dr. Trudy Arriaga.
Go and give her the envelope. That's her award.
Sage Advice Award, wow, all right. You're looking at someone who's failed retirement miserably. So here I go. I am really honored to speak this evening and to just speak for just a few minutes about my friend, my colleague, and a person who I admire, Dr. Jason Peplinski. I feel a little bit responsible for this evening because it was quite some years ago when I got a phone call from Jason. It was in the evening, and he proceeded to tell me that there was a possibility that he might be asked to become the superintendent. And I remember him saying things like, I'm not sure I'm ready. Gosh, you know, I don't know if the timing's right. And my sage advice was summed up in 4 words. And that was, Jason, if not you, who? if not you, who? And obviously, Jason not only became the superintendent, but he became the superintendent extraordinaire. I have watched him lead with wisdom, with talent, with confidence, and with grace. I have often said, Simi Valley is the place to be. Simi Valley Unified is the district to watch. And I believe that that it starts with leadership. And so my sage advice to Jason was, Jason, if not you, who? And I've been able to follow Jason literally in his career, obviously through his superintendency, but I just want to tell you a few things that you may not know. You may not know that Jason every year speaks to the new superintendents of the state of California, a group that I lead. And I have to tell you, this year I asked him to be first because we wanted to start the year out for our new superintendents with the best of the best. And I called him and said, you know, Jason, would you be first? And he's like, oh, really, first? Jason, if not you, who? And then there were opportunities at Cal Lutheran University for Jason to come on board as an adjunct and to teach classes. And pretty soon, you know, he was teaching full time. Literally, you know, it's like, would you teach this? Would you teach that? And every semester we would get him to teach a doctoral class or a master's class. And periodically I'd call him and he'd say, Trudy, I've never taught that class. And I would say, Jason, if not you, who? And not only would he teach the class, but I'm privy to the evaluations. Oh my gosh. Actually, I know, you know, just applaud if you've ever had Dr. Peplinski as a teacher. There you go. I saw them all here tonight because of their high regard and their gratitude to Dr. Peplinski as the adjunct professor at Cal Lu. Well, sure enough, when he announced his retirement, lickety-split, at Cal Lutheran, we said, oh my gosh, I wonder if we could get Jason Peplinski to come on board full time. And called Jason. He's like, oh gosh, you know, I'm retiring. I don't know. And you got to think about that. Jason, if not you, who? And Jason Peplinski, Dr. Peplinski, is coming on full time with Cal Lutheran. With all due respect to the university, they don't really know what full time means after you've been through K through 12, but it is a full time position, and we are so thrilled that he'll be joining us. And you know, just finally, in the book Leading While Female that I authored, there's one chapter devoted to male allies. And we talked about, you know, we've all worked with really great guys, but are there any that stand out that we would want to write about in a chapter of a book called Leading While Female? Not wild females. People have often thought I said wild. That's book 3, right? Actually, that's the book Jason could write. Jason, if not you, who? But we talked about, are there maybe 6 men throughout this nation who really have served as male allies, who have mentored, supported, guided, shepherded women in roles of leadership. And I raised my hand and said, I know who I'm writing about. And I called Jason and said, Jason, we'd really like you to have an excerpt in our book, Leading While Female. It's like, really, in Leading While Female, me? Jason, if not you, who? And so the story goes. And throughout Jason's career, he has been exemplary in every seat he has sat in, whether it's at Cal Lutheran or being a part of a Leading While Female book, or certainly being the on-stage person with our new superintendents in the state of California. With every seat he sits in the seat with excellence. And so I say to you, my friend Jason, job well done. And you've got some time here now to continue to impact our world and certainly our nation. And goodness knows we need men like you more than we've ever needed them before. So I say to you, enjoy this next chapter, but continue on and make that impact and spread your commitment to equity and excellence and inclusivity and all that you represent. Because, the world's waiting for you. And so, Jason, if not you, who?
Thank you, Dr. Arriaga. And Jason, by the way, Ron was informing me backstage that if we get any more heckles from you, that the non-roasting is out the window.
Let's see if we can trigger him somehow or other.
As a matter of fact, I'll turn it into an open mic heckle session, roast session.
So our next award tonight is a DJP award for extreme courage. And Dan, I was like incredibly excited about this because when we started this whole thing, there was only one request that Jason had of us, and he wanted us to come as Elphaba and Glinda.
Well, Ron, I was all for it, but you didn't want to wear the dress.
I know. So we just went with the green and the pink. But the thing, first of all, I didn't know if Elphaba was spelled an E or an A. I'm like, who in the world are Elphaba and Glinda? And then all of a sudden I found out this is about the witches from The Wizard of Oz. So when I saw courage...
Was it The Wizard of Oz? I thought it was something you guys kept calling wicked.
Well, the witches are from The Wizard of Oz. So when I thought of that, I thought courage, an award for courage. I thought of the lion. And the whole time I've been expecting Toto to show up.
Did you get that?
And
Did you get that?
I found out that Toto is never in Wicked. So much for this Extreme Courage Award. But we do have a recipient.
I still don't know what wicked is. Is it the seventh inning stretch, the Dodger game?
So this next individual has always been a mentor to Jason. And once he realized that Jason was worthy of being mentored.
Worthy.
He would, actually when Jason first became superintendent, he would regularly check up on Jason. In his first year or two as superintendent, he's the most consistent superintendent within Ventura County. Actually, he's not 100% in Ventura County, but we'll accept him to reach out. And he is the individual that had Jason elected to the suburban school superintendent. But why? Oh, he's also Jason's secret professional crush.
Well, that was before we went on Zoom all the time. Because then Jason could see himself on the screen when he was doing the shows.
But we asked, why would this person get the Extreme Courage Award?
Yes? Can I interrupt you for a second and ask a question?
Ask the question.
Toto? Ronnie? Go ahead.
Okay. So
I can't roast him.
So we kind of wondered, why does this person get the Extreme Courage Award? But he is also noted for being the first interview that Jason ever had to become an administrator.
Yeah, where was that?
Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes.
And guess what?
Yes.
This individual had the courage not to hire Jason.
And Jason does not take no very easy.
Envelope, please. Oh.
Yes, there you go.
The recipient of the Extreme Courage Award, Dr. Dan Stepanowski.
Holy smokes. I guess that did take a lot of courage. So let me explain that a little bit. And it'll be a little confusing, but Jason made a mistake and told me a few of his comments. So back in 2003, I did interview Jason. And I knew there was a plan. I knew he was destined for better things. I knew he was destined for See Me. God had a plan, and that we could not derail him at 90210. Is Jason buying that? I'm going to sit down for a few and get comfortable. I don't think this has been roasty enough. Can we turn up the roast a little more? So I wrote a little limerick. If you like it, I'm Dan Stepanowski from Las Virgenes. If you find it somewhat wanting, then I'm definitely Mark McLaughlin from Conejo. To Jason, I offer a toast in the form of a roast. Please enjoy this short rhyme before into retirement you climb. I love watching, no, we're going to cross that one off, sorry. Honey told me it was a G show. Jason, as Trudy mentioned, is the darling of Kowloon. On all local billboards, you'll see him tattooed. He's the face of leadership, so cool and so hip. And to think, he's just 22. Jason, we're not jealous at all. I've got like 15 more years. I'm sure it will all be a ball. I hope he avoids feelings of spite when Hani takes over on Tuesday night. If you miss it, you know who to call. I'll miss all your texts. I'm always eager to hear what was next. On our superintendent chats, you always had the 411 on all the Ventura spats. Jason, Simi kids are better for what you've done. You've made your district rigorous and fun. You have a lot to be proud. You will long be avowed. For kids, you have influenced a ton. Jason, congrats on this fairy tale ending. After years of successfully fending off COVID and fires, you deserve a happy retire. Well wishes, we love you, I am sending. We love you, Jason.
I ain't got too much time to spare, but I'm in time for you to show how much I care. Wish that I would let you break my walls, but I'm still spinning out of control from the fall. Boy, you give good love, I won't lie. It's what keeps me coming back, even though I'm terrified. I know that it's wrong, but I want to have fun. Yeah, yeah. I know that it's wrong, but I want to have fun. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Out of all the people in the world, what is the likelihood of jumping out of my life and into your arms? Maybe, baby, I'm just losing my mind. 'Cause this is trouble, but it feels right. Keeping on the edge of heaven and hell is a battle that I cannot fight. Lord, don't let me, I said, Lord, don't let me, I said, Lord, don't let me down. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Out of all the people in the world, what is the likelihood of jumping out of my life and into your arms? Maybe, baby, I'm just losing my mind. 'Cause this is trouble, but it feels right. Keeping on the edge of heaven and hell. Well, it's a battle that I cannot fight. I know that it's wrong, but I want to have fun. Yeah, yeah.
You haven't gotten rid of us yet, Jason, so. The next award is the DJP Award for Supporter of Arts.
Ron, that's one close to my heart.
So
I'm going to have to reveal a little secret that not many people know.
You really didn't play football?
Well, Jason knows, but he's kept it a good secret over the years, as well as Jason can keep a secret.
That's why I know.
The arts are close because not many people know that I did spend 5 years in school in choir.
So those are your high school years?
Yes, those were high school. Yes. I got very good at lip syncing. But it is it's a great award being known for supporting the arts. So this person who receives the DJP award for supporter of the arts has allowed, oh, you want the envelope?
Because I want to hear you say, please.
Don't get used to it. Has allowed and encouraged Jason to be himself and has always made him feel appreciated while he is not only doing his job, but outside of work also. This person is very enthusiastic about arts, athletics, really anything that students are involved in. She's always willing to join Jason at student performances, athletic events, honor award shows. He describes her as his theater and track meet buddy. And I think it's a great award, and this award goes to our current trustee and former board president, Don Smolin. Envelope, please. Oh, I'm supposed to say it. I knew what it said, so that's why I didn't ask for the envelope. There you go.
All right, thank you.
You want this or this?
I'm going to go this route.
Okay.
Okay, let me get all assembled over here. Yeah, they're right. You can't see anything out there. It's kind of nice. So, who here remembers your first conversation with Jason? Well, I certainly remember mine. It all started with this book, Beverly Hills Confidential. A friend of my husband's, the forensics specialist for Beverly Hills PD, had written this book, and he was having a signing at the Greystone Mansion. Along with the signing, we had the opportunity to tour the grounds and hear about the folklore and the history of the location. So here I am going from room to room. I just wanted to check the whole place out. And I noticed this gentleman ahead of me in salmon. Yes, he was wearing salmon pants. He looked so familiar, and I couldn't seem to place him. Was he an actor, an entertainer, somebody from the city? I just truly couldn't quite figure it out. Well, the afternoon goes on, and I'm socializing on the terrace there at the estate with friends, and here comes that gentleman in those salmon pants. So our friend Mitch begins to introduce himself to my husband and I. Sean, Don, you must know our friend Jason. And without him saying the last name, it was clear to me that I was being introduced to my son's principal, Jason Peplinski. Should I have known him? Yes. I had just seen him weeks earlier at orientation, but now I am 40 miles from home and a fish out of the Simi Valley Pond in the large West Side Ocean. So my first conversation that I shared with him, somehow, I had thought earlier that day he might have been a movie star or some type of entertainer. What a first impression I must have given. Well, that was the beginning, and I can tell you how honored I was to be asked to be speaking here tonight at the end of his Simi Valley career. Jason and I have had some conversations over the years of what his childhood was like in Michigan, what his plans were growing up, and how early on he saw himself in the medical profession. Obviously, that path changed along the way because of people, experiences, and because he decided to follow his passion for the future.
How lucky is this community that that path changed? He did not become a movie star or a doctor, but he went from coach to teacher, a few principalships, and now our superintendent extraordinaire. He did it all, even in the face of those who might unnecessarily be unkind. He did it all while being his most authentic self. Yes, he did it his way. And he still found a way for all of us, rightfully so, to call him Dr. Peplinski. I know that now that superintendent was not where he thought this path would lead. So it's not lost on me when our district rebranded with him in the lead, and he chose our new motto. It was from here to anywhere. Oh, the places you will go. Now, there have been challenges. In my time early on the board, I was grateful that I did not go through the times of school closures and pink slips. This is where Jason started as superintendent. Instead, Jason and I would go through our first year of COVID together. He was superintendent and board president. This is where I was really able to see his skills put to the test. Many will say unprecedented times. There is definitely no manual in place or to refer to. Words like mandate and cohorts, dealing with public health at all levels, and the constantly changing rules. With all of that, many of us did not sleep. The relationships that he had fostered over the years and his willingness to constantly be asking the question of those who are putting the rules in place helped us to make a plan, and another plan, and another plan. All the while, behind the scenes, he was having his own personal health challenges. He was always positive and willing to help lead others while in the midst of his own struggles. I am beyond grateful to see him leaving today strong, healthy, and authentically himself. Jason, please enjoy this next chapter of your life. You have earned it. Now, you will have the opportunity to spend more time on things that I know truly bring you joy. Rick and the boys, times with family, mentoring future educators, coaching volleyball, working on student theater, Broadway, and of course, your beloved Michigan. You know, Jason, many times you reminded us board members, that you are our only employee. So I'm grateful to share one last thought with you. When you retire, you will be switching bosses, from the ones that hired you to the one that married you. Best of everything to you both.
So the next DJP award is on the next page. The next DJP award is for political insight, Ron. And since it deals with political or politics, I got nothing. So I have no political insight on anything, so you take over.
Which is actually the politically correct answer for you, Dan. So this next individual always has a knowledge of not only local and community politics, but national and state politics, and actually brings that and offers that to the school district. Currently, the longest-standing board member, and also recognized for a level of fiscal knowledge and able to help guide the district in those directions, and is a current trustee, and without really giving it away, is our current board president. Envelope, please.
It's right there. This is the wrong one. That drives them nuts.
Is that one for yourself? Is that what it's, okay. Trustee Scott Blau.
I know you've heard it before, but you really can't see anyone. Well, tonight is Jason's retirement, and before I get into my discussion, I want to make sure that I thank and acknowledge Rick and Jason's family. I think for the past 8+ years, and probably even before that, it's hard when you are a public figure and everything is discussed about you, and you are sort of the center of attention, and it can be worse on family members. And so I just want to acknowledge Rick and family, and if we could just give them a quick round of applause before we get going. You know, it's been a wonderful 8 years in a lot of different ways, and first I started thinking about what to write, and I found myself writing of all the things that Dr. Peplinski has accomplished on behalf of this community. And I really just, everywhere you drive in town with our schools, you can have a touch of Jason across the district. And I think that that's a testament to the work ethic that Jason brought to the board. And I have to say this, I'm as proud today as I was the day we voted for him to be our superintendent. And I am just absolutely just the biggest fan, probably among many big fans, of Jason and his work. And it's not just for the things that are highlighted, in the community that we see. It's for many of the things that I saw throughout the time on the board. And I think that the times that you were down were probably your best moments, and you didn't realize that that was the case. I think you performed admirably during this pandemic that impacted our community, and I think that all the things that you had done to build those relationships over those years paid huge dividends that the community probably would never know or see. Your relationships with county health, your relationships with different people outside of the system, and frankly, your growing relationships in Sacramento that paid dividends all the way from, I think, the very beginning when things were changing and they didn't really have a knowledge or know-how of what education, public health should look like. You were involved in that, and you shaped that for our community. And I do want to acknowledge that personally, because I think that sometimes we look at things from a popularity standpoint, or we say it's going up or it's going down, in our community, or right now we're doing the right things, but now we're hearing that we might be doing the wrong things. He did absolutely the right things at all times to keep our students safe. And the fact that we're all sitting here today, most of us not in masks, I think speaks volumes to the care that our district contributed to the safety of our community. And if I can add that to your list, Jason, I'll get into some other more fun stuff, but I just want to acknowledge your hard work during probably one of the most unprecedented times our community's faced. So thank you, Jason, for all of your hard work on the pandemic. It is not lost on me the amount of contribution that you provided and leadership that you provided. But if I could just say a few other things about Jason, Dr. Peplinski. It really comes down to about 3 different rules. And he always used to tell me, I have a book about you that I'm writing. And he used to tell other board members he had books about us. And you're going to be in this chapter. And it usually was something when I knew that I was in trouble. I did something stupid or I said something stupid. I have a chapter for you. Or I'd have what I would call the Kramer moments, where I'd come up with some grand scheme and present it to Jason, and he'd say, oh, that's going in the book, So, and I knew then, I was like, well, that's a bad idea. We're not going to do that one. So, we had we still have a great relationship, but we had a great back and forth relationship, in terms of the amount of texts. I think I blew out the phone, most days, because we would often just, discuss everything we possibly could about what was going on in education and what was going on in our community and schools and what we wanted to do and where we wanted the schools to go, and different challenges I was seeing on campuses, different challenges he was seeing. It was an open door, and one of the things I really appreciated about my time with Jason was he got really good at providing the context for why a decision was being made, because that's always something I would cue in on, is we don't just make a decision and then say that that's the rule. We would build a context for the community to understand why we got to where we got. And I think many times That smoothed over a lot of the tougher decisions we had to do, ranging from school closures to all sorts of other, early discussions on the budget, challenging which programs, computers, all sorts of different things that we had to deal with, the bond, and, who gets what, which is always a interesting debate. Jason was very, very good at, I think, managing expectations on where things would go, and a lot of that, again, like, you don't get the credit, I think, that you deserve for the amount of controversies that didn't happen because of the amount of work that went into the relationships that you built in our community. So, again, I just wanted to give you, kudos for that. I think I'm losing the stage here. They might be pulling me off. But I just wanted to give you a couple rules on the book because I have a few that I just really appreciated during my time. And one was actually in Mrs. Calloway's class at Big Springs. It was the very first time I had ever read to kids other than my own kids. And I had to go, and this is really the rule, never, ever follow Dr. Peplinski on anything. I looked, literally, tonight I got here, they handed me the program, and I looked to make sure that I was before Dr. Peplinski so you guys would all forget all the things I said. So, because I'm looking forward to his talk. But that day, and it's funny that Trustee Swollen mentioned this, Dr. Peplinski read Oh, the Places You'll Go. And I still remember it, the kids were enamored. He had the voice down, he had the flow and the cadence, and I'm sitting there going, what did I choose? Oh, I chose Lorax. And I can't, and this thing doesn't even rhyme, my kids like it. And then it gets better. So I'm sitting there, and he's just doing this amazing presentation. The kids are paying attention, and in comes the acorn, like the acorn photographer and a person to, misquote you. It was like, and so I'm sitting here, I'm going, great, I'm going to be saying snuffleupagus and all sorts of things, and now I got the acorn here, and Jason's just up there, and the kids are enamored, and, it's just a wonderful show. And we got to the end, and the kids are clapping, and then I have to come up, and I picked this big book of all the Dr. Seuss things because I was cheap, and I bought this book because I didn't want to buy the individual books, so I can't show them the pictures. I can't, I'm not doing it perfect. The acorn cameraman comes up. He's got the camera in my face. The kids are here. And in the back, I was so appreciative because all the attention went to Jason in the back as he was being interviewed. The kids kind of were listening to me, but they were more interested in the other guy. And I just read, I had the camera in my face, and then I waited till Friday. And one of the things Jason and I always had was we would wait for the acorn to come out Thursday night because we would read the letters to the editor to see if they were attacking us. And so we would get together and we say, we didn't see anything. I didn't see, there's nothing tonight, nothing tomorrow, and so we're good this week. One of the, so I'm sitting there, and the the camera's in my face, and the thing, and the way that spread came out was absolutely perfect because it had a picture of me reading, and I wasn't like snarling or sneering. I was just kind of like halfway, like looking like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And over there, all the quotes and pictures were about Jason, and it came out wonderfully. Like I didn't ruin it, and so I was super happy about that. So rule 1: never follow Jason in a presentation, but he'll still correct it after the fact. So it's all good. The number 2 thing, and I'm observant, Jason makes everyone feel important. And I think that's the secret sauce to Dr. Peplinski. And I'll tell you a funny story. We were at Sinaloa for a promotion, and it was at the end of the year, and you have a whole bunch of eighth graders ready to be promoted, and parents, and everybody's there, and one thing it was my very first one. Again, it was one of these first impressions that you kind of go with somebody, and Jason was on my side, so they're passing out the diplomas and reading off the names. And one thing I noticed right away was Jason was saying, congratulations to every student by name. And I sat there, and you're up there, you don't really think, and I said, God, he knows every kid's name, and he's saying it over and over, and he knows them all. And then I subtly said, well, wait, they're reading it out loud above me, and I could do the same thing. And so since this day. And you could just see the kids, as soon as he said their name, congratulations, John, congratulations, they just would light up because, again, they're sweaty palm, they're looking for their parents, and they were kind of just passing, trying to grab the diploma and get off stage as fast as they could. And Jason would take a point to make them feel important. And I think that to me really encapsulates Jason in so many ways. Is he's often made me feel very, important, I think, to, grease the skids on a tougher thing, or, I know that he makes everybody feel very, very important. And frankly, I think it's because he believes we all are important, and we know that. And I think the sincerity of his contribution to each of us in each of our lives is something that, again, is a testament to the type of character that our district has. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it to my last rules of working with Jason. And it's hard work doesn't need to look hard. And I think that that's, again, another testament to Jason and his work ethic. There were numerous times when I would text him on weekends. And in fact, I think Trustee Daniels had to put a stop to the texting on weekends because I would be asking questions because I get my report on Friday. And so I'd be asking questions all weekend and staff would go crazy. So Dr. Peplinski would, he'd always answer. But I think the funniest thing was, and it's not really funny, he was in Saturdays and Sundays working. I mean, nobody knew it. Nobody knew that he was in the office and putting in the hours. He was working on ed services. He was working on different things. And frankly, there was so much hard work underneath the surface that he was doing on a relationship level, and not just that, on a policy level for our district. That again, I think that this retirement is tough for me because I know that the amount, I was a witness to all the amount that he contributed, that again, most folks probably didn't notice, and or probably just didn't know. And I'll give you an idea. So he presented with the board a success plan, and I know Trustee Daniels and former Trustee White is here, but he went through this elaborate 5-page goal list of all the things that he was going to accomplish. And, all of us are, yeah, it's great. Does the budget work? Okay, good. We're like, managing the business of the district and what we want people to feel about the district. And we really focused on Jason to let educators be educators. And I really hope that that's something, too, that our community felt, as our educators were they had the power to be educators in our community. You didn't have boards kind of getting involved in too much of the day-to-day of managing curriculum and so forth. That's one thing that, and I saw Dr. Arriaga, he brought Dr. Arriaga out our first month to kind of regulate the board because we got elected and we kind of didn't know what our lane was. And it wasn't, and how our roles work together and how we work together as board governance. And I would say, again, that's another testament to Jason and his hard work with board governance because we really have done well. So I'll just leave it at, leave it with those comments. I think that the amount of accomplishments speak for themselves. There are so many. And again, you can drive around our community or talk to any student that has gotten to know Dr. Peplinski over the years. And it's an extremely important thing. So as I started with Dr. Seuss, I made sure I was gonna say this at the end. And because I'm a little bit sad about it, and I've only known one superintendent, although Hani I have a lot of faith in, and I think he'll do a great job. But I just wanted to quote Dr. Seuss one more time and say, "Don't cry because it's over, smile that it happened." And I think Dr. Peplinski and your family, I want to thank you guys for all of your contributions to our community, seen and unseen. And so thank you very much.
Hey, Dr. Peplinski, Valley View just wanted to wish you congratulations on your retirement. Hope you have a happy retirement. I know it looks just like it's only me, but... Yeah, buddy. Happy retirement.
I got no strings to hold me down, to make me fret or make me frown. I hit strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me.
Congratulations, Jason! And a big thank you from White Oak. Everybody give a cheer. Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Jason. Have a great retirement.
Hi, Jason. From the Burlwood staff, we want to congratulate you on your retirement and hope a wonderful future for you in the future, obviously. And thank you very much for your leadership in helping us become better educators. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peplinski. Have a great retirement.
From Jella.
Go.
Hi, Dr. Peplinski. On behalf of Knowles Elementary School, we would like to wish you a wonderful retirement. Thank you for all you have done.
Congratulations.
We wish you fond well as you make the other move. Monte Vista says farewell, and in this case, checkmate.
Thank you, Jason.
Our next DJP award is in the category of Best Modeling. Now, Jason, you probably
Is that why you're doing this one?
Thank you.
Sure.
Jason probably
Ronnie.
right now is probably thinking RuPaul's Drag Race, and RuPaul's going to come out and show him how to be a model in his retirement. But no, this type of modeling has to do with an individual who is the finest administrator that Jason ever worked with. She, from the very beginning of him knowing her, set an example for Jason, was one of the earliest examples of a great administrator for Jason, and she has led by example. She continues to lead by example now in retirement. Envelope, please.
I'm ready this time.
Thank you.
No problem.
The DJP award for modeling goes to Anna Merriman.
There are few adjectives that I could describe about Dr. Jason Peplinski. Brilliant, visionary, handsome, funny, and passionate. But when I think of Jason, I think of change. Let me explain. It's seldom that we who serve as administrators get a lot of unsolicited praise, but I'll take the recognition for bringing Jason to the east end of the county. While I can't take full credit, I must admit that Rod Dearborn had a hand to play in this also. My second year as principal of Moore Park High School, we were in need of a volleyball coach. Oh, and yes, a Spanish teacher. This 12-year-old kid showed up for the interview. Both of us had our doubts because he sounded way too good to be true. One BA, 2 MAs, and he was still thinking about medical school. Rob convinced me that he'd be a great fit, so we offered him a teaching position. Since he was new to our staff, and I still wasn't convinced that he was as old as 16, I visited his classroom the first week of school just to see what we'd gotten ourselves into. After all, how could anybody who looked younger than their students have any kind of classroom management? To say the least, I was impressed with what I found. Not only was there total student engagement and learning taking place, but he had his lessons on a thing called PowerPoint, and his students were captivated. I was so excited to see this presentation that I hoped I could use it at our first staff meeting in hopes of getting the same results that Jason. I noticed that when Jason was introducing a new concept, he'd have the idea fade in on the screen. Well, fade in held their attention. I thought we should add fly through spiral just to spice things up a little. When he wanted his students to remember a concept, he'd use the zoom feature. So of course, not only did I use the zoom, but added the typewriter tool. And when he was checking for understanding, he would have the answers flash. So why not add a little checkerboard to that? By the end of my first attempt at using PowerPoint at our faculty meeting, of my 104 faculty members, 100 of them had motion sickness. I learned I had to change what Jason was doing. A year or so down the line, both Kelly Hayes and Jason came to see me in my office and wanted to know what I thought about the two of them going into administration. My first reaction was, oh, you'll hate it. I couldn't imagine losing these two incredible, outstanding teachers. And after all, oops, wasn't it about me? They both brought so much to Moore Park High School. But after some soul searching, I had to change again, knowing that my role really was to support and encourage teachers that wanted to come over to the dark side, and because it really would strengthen our profession and be great for kids. So very begrudgingly, I had to change and encourage them to enter the program, and the rest is history. But the biggest change was me. I asked my administrative team to eat lunch together every day after we finished lunch supervision. I truly believe this was a great way for our team to get to know each other and to become a cohesive, supportive team. Jason happened to be on prep period during our lunch period, and he joined us daily. During the first year, he shared his personal story with us. Because he did, I changed again. I not only questioned some long-held personal beliefs, I changed them. He taught me to listen, to accept, to love, and to embrace differences. To sum up, Jason changed the way I looked at life. He made me a much better person. And for that, Jason, I will always be thankful. I want to close with a quote that when I read it, I thought of Jason immediately. At the end of life, what really matters is not what we bought, but what we built. Not what we got, but what we shared. Not our competence, but our character. And not our success, but our significance. Live a life that matters. Live a life of love. Congratulations, Jason.
The next award, the DJP Award, Dr. Jason Peplinski, is for supportive sister-sister. Ron, do you have a sister?
I have a sister, and I believe, do you have more than one sister?
I have 3 of them.
You have 3 sisters?
Yes,
And
but in all the time we've known Jason, did you know he had a sister?
I did not know he had a sister, nor did I know he had a supportive sister.
a sister. Wow. With the things we learn.
So this next individual obviously must be fairly close to Jason, being as it's a sister, but really the truth is she is like a sister. They've had parallel careers. I believe they both were under Anna Merriman when they were at Moore Park High School as teachers. They have a lot of history together. They've grown together. They've grown up together. Very much a longtime friend and a confidant who he considers to be incredibly bright, but more importantly, incredibly loyal. And one of the more interesting facts that I'm sure has helped to solidify the relationship, that Jason considers himself honored that he was with her when she delivered her twins. So the DJP Award.
Would you like the envelope? Want me to open it for you? Good? Okay.
For Sister is Dr. Kelly Hayes.
Thank you. Sister, I love it. Good evening, everyone. I am very honored to be invited to share my thoughts about Dr. Jason Peplinski. I'm going to put on my glasses. I first met Jason in 1998 when we were teachers together at Moore Park High School. I sought him out after discovering that he had placed a bagel in my teacher box one morning to cheer me on because I was training to run the Chicago Marathon to raise money for AIDS research. When I actually met him, we immediately hit it off and were basically inseparable for the rest of our teaching years at MHS. Before long, we decided to get our administrative credentials together, and boy, did we have some adventures in our classes. I remember Mr. Peplinski being just a bit competitive with me about who would get the highest grades in our classes together. Hint, it was me. And pretty much every single class. And then there was the time we had to have an especially engaging, attention-getting opening to a final presentation in one of our classes. And if you know Jason well, you know exactly what he did. A series of back handstands and flips across the entire classroom. Needless to say, we got an A on that presentation. And then there was the time when I was very pregnant with my twins. We were at some very old middle school in the valley, and the classrooms had the old-fashioned desks that were connected to the seats. Well, I could not fit into one. And our very caring professor said, well, I guess you'll have to stand. But Jason was there for me, and he ran around the entire school to find a freestanding chair that I could actually sit in for our 3-hour class. And as Mrs. Merriman said, he was also there for me when I went into labor. I was at the hospital in agony, waiting for the doctor to arrive, and then Jason walked in. I had many friends there to support me, but none were successful in getting the nurses to administer the epidural shot. But then came Jason. He walked into my room. I grabbed his hand. He later told me I squeezed it so hard he cried. And I pleaded with him, get me the effing shot. Well, guess what? The nurses came right in, and the process started. I have no doubt that it was Jason who made that happen. You see, Jason has a gift for making things happen, for inspiring others to come together, to achieve a common goal, and to work hard to get it done. Jason, you have an innate ability to connect with people and to make them feel special. You engage people, you make people laugh, you make people feel good because you believe in them. You believe they can do anything and reach any goal they desire. I believe it is why you have been such a gift to the Simi Valley Unified School District. You believed in your district, your staff, and your students, and most importantly, you led your district to believe in itself and to recognize its greatness. You have been a leader. You have been the leader your staff and students needed, and for that, you should feel so very proud and so very accomplished. For nearly 8 years, we have been superintendents together, And that is a very long time in this position. Having had Jason to lean on and just to talk to has been a real blessing. I have truly enjoyed having you as a very dear friend each step of the way during our careers and having your support in so many ways. I look forward to sharing new experience with you as instructors at COU, and I wish you all the best that life has to offer to you and Rick and your amazing boys. Embrace this new part of your life, but also take moments to reflect back on the positive impacts you have made to so many, and I include myself in that. Thank you, and I love you.
We now have the DJP Award for Understudy.
That could be a lot of people.
Many of us have been his understudy, but few of us choose to rise to his level. But this individual will probably have to take on that role, I'm assuming. So, you know, it could be us winning that award because I believe we've worked to be understudies for Elphaba and Glinda, as has been evidenced tonight. But obviously, we are not going to win the award.
Was I the good witch?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. That made you the bad witch. Okay. So the DJP Award for Understudy, and it's kind of interesting that way back when Bob LaBelle was a principal at Royal, hi Bob, and we had to hire an activities director, Bob was able to steal Jason from Moore Park and became our activities director.
Well, Anna did say that she brought him to the dark side, so not sure if that was administration or if that was Moore Park, but.
Ooh. Kelly, I apologize for that. So anyway, then Bob decided to retire, and I became the principal at Royal. And when I became the principal at Royal, I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I saw Jason and said, I have to make him my assistant principal, and brought him up to the front office. So for about 3 days, I would say, Jason was my understudy. And then I looked at him and said, you know what? Someday I'll be working for you when you're a superintendent. And here we are, and that's a true story. So, but right now, our DJP Award for Understudy is a loyal and trusted colleague to Jason. Actually, he's the first person that was hired by Jason when he became the superintendent. He could not be more proud of him. He's very ambitious and moving forward. He is making the transition into the superintendent role with grace, allowing Jason to retire and exit his position in a very positive manner. And Jason has been a great mentor to him. And the DJP Award for Understudy, envelope please, Dr. Hani Youssef.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Be a part of our solution. Be a part of our revolution. Be a part of our solution. Be a part of our revolution. Those words were spoken by Dr. Jason Peplinski at an open session board meeting in December of 2014. This is the same night that the board was going to negotiate Jason's contract because Jason was appointed as superintendent, but they had yet to actually give him his contract. So I started to attend those meetings to determine whether or not I wanted to apply for the assistant superintendent position that Jason just vacated. So I was attending board meetings, and one of the many rules is when the board gives a superintendent a 1-year contract, that's probably not where you want to go, because if he hires me and only gets 1 year, that's not a lot of confidence. If they get rid of him, they get rid of me. I'm not doing that. Right? So that night, I went to see what Jason's contract would look like and how many years they were going to give him. And depending on what happened there, I was going to make my decision after multiple times of my attending various meetings. So it's still one of the most awkward moments that I've ever experienced in a board meeting, because the president of the board that night took the education code of negotiating the superintendent's contract in public literally. And that night, Jason, you remember this because we still joke about it, Dan White decided that that was going to be the night. All right, Jason, what will you take? How about 190? Does 190 sound good? Does 190 sound good? What about 185? Will you take 185? 190? And it's archived for all to see. Correct. True story, Jason. You remember this. And that night, they gave Jason a multi-year contract, and with grace and dignity and professionalism, he said, "Thank you, board, and to everyone out there listening, be a part of our solution. Come be a part of our revolution." And I didn't know exactly what that meant, so I applied, and the force of nature that is Jason Peplinski, I embraced every single word that he said. I embraced his vision, and I tried to do my very best to support him along the way and accomplish all tasks. I would get a text. I'd be in a meeting somewhere with, other administrators, and Jason would send me a text. "Hey, let me share something with you." I'd leave the meeting, I'd go to Jason's office, and he was very intentional about, I'm the new guy, and I'm going to make sure you understand the community. I'll have you meet certain people, and I'm definitely going to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure you get out there. I'm doing all these things. So it would not be unusual. I get a text, come to my office, go to his office. He said, "Hey, listen, read this email reply. How do you think this sounds? Should I hit send on this one?" All right. A few days would pass. I would get another text. "Hey, I got something for you." I go to his office, and it would be, "Listen, here's the situation right now. We got this thing happening at the school, and I want you to call this person and do this and do that." "Okay, no problem. I'm on it." I go. Weeks would pass. I get another text. "Hey, come to my office." I go to his office, and he would say, "Listen, here's what's happening in the community. You got the chamber, you got the city. This is happening, and why don't we go over here? Let's go to the community over here. Let's go to that church, and we're going to talk to these people, and we're going to tell them how great we are, and they're going to come over here." All right. So he was very intentional about making sure I was involved. Another day, "Hey, come to my office." I go over there. "Listen, we're going to do full day kindergarten." I said, "All right, you want me to go get the contract?" "We don't need the contract. We're just going to go full day kindergarten, and we're going to do it, and we're going to tell everybody we're going to do it. You ready? All right, let's go. Let's go do this." So, all right. So all these things would happen, and he was so good about making sure that he mentored me and included me in everything. And in January of this year, when the board, thank you, board, for appointing me as the next superintendent. I'm the other guy, by the way. It's a pattern. So, thank you, board, for appointing me as the next superintendent. And when that happened in January, Jason is still so intentional about including me. I still get texts. "Hey, come to my office." But now I go up to his office. "All right, what's going on?" He said, "Listen, I got that bamboo plant right here. Do you want that? Because I'm going to pack that up, but if you want it, I'll leave it here for you." All right. A few days would go by. "Hey, come check this out." I run up to the office, and he goes, "Hey, come here, close the door, close the door." I go, "What's going on? What happened? Who did what?" He goes, No, come here, look at this TikTok. Let me show you this TikTok right here. So, listen, there's two guys in this TikTok. I'm going to be this guy, and I want you to memorize the other guy's lines, and then we're going to record it, and we're going to do this voiceover. It's going to be hilarious. I'm like, "Jason, I'm in a meeting right now." And then he goes, okay. And then 2 hours later, we're recording this video. Or now, he would always walk into any of our meetings. He'd sit down and share words of wisdom and give us his ideas. Now, since January, So we've got meetings, 9 to 10. We only have this 1 hour, and we got to talk about what we're going to do here with the, device adoption for students. We're bringing in new technology. We're going to do all this. And everybody's only got 9 to 10. There's 15 people in the room. Let's knock this out. By 9:20, Jason will walk in. He'll sit in the back of the room. Guys, I feel so sorry for all of you. Education is hard right now. And that would go on. Witnesses, can I hear some claps? Thank you. That would go on, and it's 9:45, and then he goes, oh my gosh, I gotta go. And then we've got like 10 minutes left of the meeting. The point is this, is Jason, your legacy is not going to be the amazing new building that we moved into and you fully furnished and decorated. It's not going to be all the amazing landscaping and curb appeal projects. It's not going to be the rebranding and the logo and the from here to anywhere motto that we've all embraced. Your true legacy is going to be the people whose hearts and minds you've touched. That's it. You're a transformational leader, and by definition, a transformational leader is someone who makes other people better. And you've made us all better people, not just better educators. And I can't wait for July 1st, not because that's when I'll officially have the title that I've been doing for the last 8 months, but that's because on July 1st, I will be your immediate supervisor. Since you retire officially in January of 2023, but I love you, we all love you, and tonight is your night.
So I'm Trevor Newton.
And I'm Isabella Moore.
And we are from class of 2013 here at Santa Susana High School. Let's hear it. Woo! Isabel and I were heavily involved in the arts when we were here at Santa Su, and the moment we met Mr. P, we knew that he was also an avid supporter of the arts. One of my favorite memories that I had with Mr. P on the stage, I was 16 years old, I had a solo and jazz choir, we were performing for like a sea of like 500 8th graders. I got up to do my solo and I cracked really hard. It was very embarrassing, and I walked off almost in tears, traumatized, and Mr. P called me back out on stage, and he said, I just want everyone to know that just like Trevor, my voice is also still changing. Was it helpful in the moment? Probably not. But with some reflection, it is clear to me that Mr. P brings support and levity to the arts, to his students. He, for both of us, was not a principal or a superintendent. He was a mentor and still is a mentor, but most specifically for queer youth in our schools. Yep. He made sure to foster a community where the outcasts felt accepted, supported, and celebrated. And the first time I saw him crossing the quad with his arms by his side, like a damsel in a musical, I saw that and I said, I feel seen.
So some of you may or may not know that Mr. P will be returning to his alma mater next year to help put on a production of a very special show that was actually our final show here at Santa Susana. And so now we would like to perform a special song, and we chose the song because we felt that it resonated whether you were 27, 18, or 13.
If you stand here behind me and you call me a man and you're counting on me to come through. You should know that I'll give you the best that I can, 'cause we all have a little more homework to do.
If you're walking beside me and you wanna be friends, you should know I'm depending on you. So you gotta hang in there till the whole story ends, 'cause we all have a little more homework to do.
And I've been looking in the back of the book for the answers, hoping the bell wouldn't chime.
But I'm not ready to put down my pencil just yet. There are too many answers that I didn't get. I need a little less pressure and a little more time. I'm trying to follow, I'm trying to lead, I am trying to find what is true. But if you're gonna stand with me, you have to concede that we all have a little more homework to do.
Turns today. You get a little bit older, a little bit taller, a little bit better, a little bit. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. And the days before all go too fast. You can't hold on, so you go.
Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today.
And I'm a little bit older, a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, a little bit.
Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today.
And the days ahead coming on so quick, you can't get out of the way, you keep running.
Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. And I'm a little bit older, a little bit faster, a little bit closer, a little bit. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. And the sky goes blue and the sky goes black, and no matter what you do, you can't go back. You go day into day, into day. Day into day, into day. Day turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day, turns to day.
And I've been looking in the back of the book for the answers, hoping no bell wouldn't chime. But I'm not ready to put down my pencil just yet. Too many answers that I didn't get. I need a little less pressure
And a little more time. I am trying to follow, I am trying to lead, I am trying to learn what is true. I am trying to be what you want and I need, and we all have a little more homework. We all have a little more homework. We all have a little more homework. Today turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today. Day turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today, turns today.
We have students from the classes of 2012 to 2014, and on behalf of all of us, we want to say, Dr. P, you are a legend, you are an icon, and we love you and we thank you.
Where are you? Where is he?
Hi!
We love you.
We love you so much. Thank you. Right.
Congratulations, Dr. Peplinski, on your retirement. We are so thrilled to have been able to serve in Simi Valley under your leadership here at Sinaloa. All of us are wishing you the very best and know that wherever you go, greatness will follow.
Thank you, Dr. Peplinski, for all your support and for showing us what makes a great leader.
One, two, three. From the
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody.
Give me an R-E.
Read.
Give me a T-I-R-E.
Tired.
Give me an M-E-N-T.
Meant.
What's that spell?
Freedom.
Here from the old razzle dazzle. Give 'em an act.
Happy retirement, Dr. Peplinski. Enjoy your time off. Thank you so much.
Happy retirement, Dr. Peplinski. Thank you for making all my leadership dreams come true. Go Monday!
Cheers, Jason, to health.
Once again, thank you, Jason, and
Congratulations!
People singing the song of angry men. It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. Learn the beating of your heart.
So as we stopped and thought about this evening, we thought about Jason not being the wagering type. And so we at Cabinet had to honor his desire for wagering. So we had to put some bets out on when the Kleenex box was going to be first pulled from for Jason, and the tears would flow. And my bet was the national anthem. Was I right, Jason? But I can say right now, I'm sure that if the Kleenex isn't coming out of that box and flowing for Jason, what a great couple numbers, the alumni, incredible. So
After the Kentucky Derby, I took the long shot. I lost. So the next DJP award to be given out is for being Thelma to Jason's Louise.
So a Thelma and Louise theme here kind of sounds a little bit interesting to me for Jason, but
I just hope they're here tonight and not out looking for Brad Pitt.
So Jason does see this person as his Thelma to his Louise, one of the strongest people that Jason knows, who also leads by example. If he was to give a just quick phrase for the two of them's relationship, it's ride or die, just like Thelma and Louise. She is always there for Jason to confide in, and she is also known as the president of the Simi Valley Adventist Hospital, and that would be, well, it doesn't really help to pull out envelopes when you say who they are.
You want the envelopes.
I didn't ask for it. So actually, Thelma to Jason's Louise is Jennifer Swenson.
I was wondering what my DJP title was going to be. I think that hit the nail on the head, my friend. Well, first of all, I can't believe that I'm here tonight to celebrate the retirement of my friend, Dr. Jason Peplinski. First of all, I'm extremely jealous. This really is not fair because you're younger than me, and I don't get to retire. But I guess I do have some accountability to this, in that having a child blessing at the age of 42 doesn't really set me up to retire anytime soon. But anyhow, this is not about me tonight. This is about you, my friend. As the president of our local hospital, it's been an absolute privilege to work alongside you to provide expanded health care to our students and access to vaccines for our teachers. We were a force that was unstoppable together. Dr. Levin never had a chance. So I don't know if you remember this, but we actually met in 2016. I came to your office at the old building, and I'm like, this guy's from Michigan. You see, all good things come from the Midwest. However, he was my arch rival to my beloved Ohio State. I'm sorry, the Ohio State. Is this relationship really going to work? Of course it worked. It worked tremendously. We got to know each other even further as we participated in Simi Valley Chamber's leadership class of 2017, #NeverRoutine. And I realized how similar we were, the challenges we both faced, and the similarity in how we were approaching those challenges. You see, the community of Simi didn't value their education. They didn't value their health care. And we needed to change that perception. So we both started our individual journeys to change the perception of our organization. Jason was passionate about having excellent teachers that were engaged with his students to go from here to anywhere. He built programs. He built a movement. He built a team that surrounded him with a force to get things done. Today, just take a moment to look at what he has accomplished. Students graduating and going straight from high school to Broadway. Students being accepted into top colleges and universities. Less students leaving our district to attend school here because of the amazing education we have provided through our Simi Valley Unified School District. As part of leadership, we had an opportunity to tour some of the schools in our district. And let me just tell you, Jason was like a proud papa bear. Every school we went to, he would give us the lowdown. He was so proud of his schools, and he would brag about how each one has been so successful. But true success is not the measurement of your individual success. It's the measurement of your team's success when you actually depart. Jason, you have set this team up for continued success, and I promise you, Hani and I will work together to continue your legacy of putting teachers and students first. Now, I had envisioned when I was asked to speak today of this glorious rendition of a Dear Evan musical. However, you can tell I do have a Midwest nasal voice, I can go right there. So, in the spirit of saving you from my Midwest nasal voice, I modified one of Jason's favorite musicals, the song For Forever from Dear Evan Hansen. And this is modified with my touch. Driving the country road in Jen's Corvette, grabbing a scoop at our Carreras, and then we were there in an open field at the Reagan Library. We picked a spot and shot the breeze like buddies do, quoting some of our favorite songs by Adele, telling jokes and stories that no one understands except us two. We talk and take in the view. All we see is sky for forever. We let the world pass by for forever. Feels like we could go on for forever this way. Two friends on a perfect day. I love you, my friend. I wish you all the very best in your next chapter. And I'm so privileged to have known you and watch what you have done for our community. We are truly blessed. So thank you.
Wow, so many DJP awards we've given out this evening. It's been amazing.
They're probably glad this is our last one, though. Probably not because of Jason, but because of you and I.
We get to get off the stage. So, but we had a list of so many more DJP awards that we wanted to give out. Awards such as DJP Award for Best Support, DJP Award for Best Rescue out of Quartz Hill, DJP Award for Extreme Patience.
Definitely the winner of that award right there, this individual.
DJP Award for Being a Savior. DJP Award for Support and Encouragement. And we looked at those and we kept going back to the same person that fit all of those. So we thought we would give the DJP Award for this category of Lifetime Achievement. I don't think it's any secret that this man saved Jason's life and got him out of Quartz Hill. So even though, sorry, Anna, you think Rob brought Jason to you, it was actually this person who got him out of Quartz Hill. He's very grateful that he gets to spend his life with him. He picks him up and saves him when he's broken, and he's always supportive. And Denise and I are very lucky that we get a chance to spend time with them outside of work occasions or the work environment, and we can see the love that they have for each other and the support. So the DJP Award for Lifetime Achievement, Rick Moss. Oh. Do you want this or do you want that? I'll give you that.
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm Jason's husband. First, I want to just thank you all for being here tonight, being able to sit next to him and just seeing how he's reacting to everybody and everything that's happening into here. I know this is something really special for him, so thank you for being here. If you're in the room, it's because you are very special to him. When Dan and Julie first asked me to talk tonight, my first response was that there's got to be 400 other people in the room that he'd rather hear from than me. But then after I thought about it for a while, I realized I'm probably the only one in the room who has been here through his entire journey. So while I'm glad others got to speak about his in-house experiences with all of you, there is one thing that I want you all to know and really understand. And that's from day one, Jason has given you his all. From his early days as a Spanish teacher, volleyball coach, he put everything into his students, his athletes, and his colleagues. As a teacher, he went out of his way to make sure his classroom was a very stimulating environment. I saw this firsthand, year after year, in the effort that he put into setting up his classroom over the summer. There was no time spared in getting ready for his new batch of students. I saw it then, and I see it today in the commentary we receive from old students who are now young adults. It is a rare occasion when we're not out on the town and we don't have a past student come up to him and tell him what great memories they had of him as a teacher, a coach, or a principal. And I guess that's the true tale about everything that you all do in this room. If you hear that same thing again and again, you know you did something right along the way. Another way Jason gave you his all was in his prep to be a principal and ultimately the superintendent. During the early years, while he was spending countless hours at school, coaching volleyball, attending hundreds of evening events at schools, he was also prepping himself to ultimately be ready for taking on a higher role. Balancing the hours at work while getting 3 higher educational degrees over 10 years, that was not easy on him, but he did it. While he did not know where it would ultimately lead, he knew he wanted to do so much more. As you probably all know, Jason is the strongest form of a type A. He has always been driven to do things the right way. And while that can be a blessing, it can also be a curse. Night after night, I would ask him to step back, turn it off for a while, and he never did. Each and every time, his answer was the same. I can't. It's my job. I can't do it any other way, and it's too important, and that's what it requires. And if we had that conversation one time, we had it 100 times. And he just was always all in for all of you. So, again, in closing this up, I want you all to know, if you were a student, an athlete, a co-teacher, a fellow administrator, he gave you everything he had, day after day, year after year, and throughout his entire career. It was my pleasure to share him with you for the past 22 plus years. Now I want to thank you for allowing me to take him back for the next phase of our lives together. That day is something we've both been waiting for about 6 years, and now that time is here. So on behalf of both of us, I want to thank you all for the great support that you have shown him over the years. He has the highest respect for everyone in this room today. I know this because I have heard it from him many, many times about the great team that is in place at Simi Valley Unified. Jason, welcome to the other side. I'm looking forward to the years to come.
So, Ronnie, that does finish our DJP award. So you have the stage for a few seconds if you'd like to say something, but I've been getting texts about time, so.
We did project 9 o'clock. We're really close to 9 o'clock, so I don't think we're going to make it because I'm not so sure we could complete this evening when we are talking about Dr. Jason Peplinski and talking about the DJP without a few moments of DJP himself coming up here. So, DJP, it's been a great ride. We look forward to seeing you around many other things. Do know you're going to be incredibly missed. The two of us, sometimes as rough as we seem, we love you and we're going to miss you.
He said he already turned me off. Bye.
Well, wow. I was doing so good until those kids came out. I don't like to be surprised, but that was a really good one. So, I know they can't hear me, but wow, that was really special. Oh, thank you. Isn't the talent of our students just amazing? It's just amazing. I've been quite a pill about this party, and I told them early on I wanted a show, and boy, did they deliver. And they tried to keep me out of it as much as possible, and I've been pretty obnoxious. So, but I have to thank them, and Santa Sue, Julia Penne's back here. I just with. And you know, they did all this without really any rehearsals, so I just am so blown away. And my cabinet, it exceeded every expectation. You know, I had high expectations. And so I'm just so grateful. I'm going to be quick because I know we're tight on time. If you could advance that slide, Booth, that would be awesome. Can you bring the lights up a little bit so I could look at the faces of the people that mean so much to me out here? I don't know if they could bring up the house lights a bit, but so that little guy started kindergarten, and I went to third grade here, and that's an important picture because I want you to remember that face. And then here I am today. Could you advance the next slide, please? So these are what I call my hero educators. And if you've been around the district, you've heard me talk about them before. And I'm so just honored and tickled that the guy on the right, my high school Spanish and drama teacher, Mr. Spittler, is here this evening. I don't know where he is. Where is he? I don't know where he is. I'm going to tell you a quick story about these three. It was Mrs. Blau, who I went to in third grade. Let's Get Physical by Olivia Newton-John was very popular. And I asked her if I could do a rendition of that for the PE class in third grade. How did people not know? And Mrs. Blau obliged, maybe with some hesitation for what she knew might come my way, but she allowed me to do it, and I rocked it. I had the leg warmers, the headband, my little Boy Scout short shorts. And I went to recess shortly after that and got called names that I didn't understand. First time I got called that name, it was Jeff Capron, and he was a fifth grader. And I went in after recess, and Mrs. Spearing, the one in the middle there, she had a beautiful singing voice. And on Fridays, she would turn the lights off and sing to us for the last 5 minutes of school for the week. And the day ended, and the class left, and I lingered in her room. And I didn't know what those words meant. I just knew they weren't kind. And I knew that it didn't come from a place of friendship or love. And she knelt down next to my desk, and in 3rd grade, she had the wisdom to tell me that one day, Jason, people will better understand. And then I went to high school. And I presented last week at a conference and showed this very slide. And I started talking about Mr. Spittler, and I lost it just like this. And the late 80s in northern Michigan was not a safe place for people to be themselves. And I was so grateful that I had someone to look up and see myself. I got to see somebody successful and popular and good at what they did. And it was really important to me that I had an example. And I have a sign that has gone with me in every classroom and every door of every office I've had, and it says, "Be who you needed when you were younger." And Mr. Spittler, you were that to me. So I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful all of these teachers came into my life. They were formulative for how I became a teacher and how I treated other people's children. And I think that it was very difficult the last couple of years to have insults hurled at me about my lack of care for kids and my disregard for them and that I shouldn't be working with kids. It was really hurtful. And I tried to pay it little attention because I knew my intention was pure and good. But if it wasn't for these 3, I don't know that my career as an educator would have been what it was. So I'm so grateful to them. All the people who spoke tonight matter so much to me, and I've learned so much from all of you. Little nuggets along the way. It's so crazy to hear you tell those stories, and I hear those things echoed in the things I say to people today. I've learned a lot about myself as a leader. And coming to this decision to retire was not easy. It hurts my soul because it matters so much to me. And it was hard to make the decision, but the time was right. I always said that I was not going to stay in any position, teaching, coaching, principal, anything, longer than my enthusiasm made me the best I could be at it. And sometimes, things and people just use up what we're good at. And I came to see me at a time when what I was good at was really important to the community. And I'm so looking forward to Hani taking the next, phase of our district into a new place. And this team that has been assembled at our district office, at our school sites, is just amazing. And if you're an employee here tonight, Hani said it earlier, you are my legacy. You are what I leave behind, and hopefully the philosophy that we've developed together continues on in our schools. And I know that we have just amazing people in place, so I feel really good about stepping away. It's still hard. I'm reading, again, Deepak Chopra's Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, and there's a passage in there where he talks about the life things that we look back on at the end of our time the big things revolve around change. Getting married, a loss of a loved one, a child, all those things that we look back on revolve change. So I'm excited about this change, but he says at the last sentence of that chapter that letting go is difficult and holding on is sometimes harder. And that's really where I feel like I am. I have had cancer twice in this job, and no one will tell me that it's not stress-related. I know it is. And a couple of weeks ago, I got a clean bill of health. So I'm really looking forward to moving into that next phase, as Rick mentioned, with my health intact and a lot of good years in front of us. If you could put the next slide up. Scott, I appreciate you thanking my family. I asked Anna Merriman one time if she had any regrets, and she said to me that she spent a lot of time at other kids' volleyball games, other people's kids' volleyball games and concerts. And if you know Anna, the way she was a high school principal, she went to everything. And that's how I became a principal. I went to everything. And it took me away from my family a lot. And I got to see Jarrett, our younger son, play baseball twice a year when they played Moore Park, because I was the principal there. Tried to make up for it when he went to college, but that was hard. I got to coach Jeremy, his high school volleyball team, so I got to see a little bit more of that. But this group of people obviously is really important to me. Stephanie's joined our group, and her daughter Sage. Hi, Sage. I've already picked out my grandpa name. It's Pop Pop. We haven't quite gotten Sage there yet. I have put a little bit of pressure on Jeremy and Stephanie, and they promised me they're working on it. So, I just want to share just two quick little stories before I thank some people. I went to Lincoln Elementary as a high school person. I had been a high school person, and I need to thank getting to Royal High School. Bob LaBelle and Anna Merriman conspired. They were good friends and long-time colleagues. And as was mentioned, Kelly Hayes and I were on similar trajectories. We were both teachers at Moore Park, both trying to get admin jobs at the same time. And we both knew that one of us wasn't going to be able to stay in Moore Park. One of us was going to have to go. And Anna made sure that Kelly and I were both taken care of. And she called her good friend Bob. And Bob trusted that endorsement, and I learned so much from being at Royal with you, Bob, and I'm appreciative for the start of my administrative career with you at Royal. He didn't always like that he told me to be the student advocate, but he got really red a few times at me, really red. But I appreciate the start I got with you, Bob, and it's so awesome now that you're on our school board and still mentor me today. And I was moved to Lincoln as a principal. I didn't know I wanted to be an elementary principal, but I was. And the staff at Lincoln was so gracious with this high school person who got there and proceeded to, on the first week, call a parent and say, "Your kid said shit." And the kid started crying. And I then later found out and had to call the parent back that in second grade, the S word is stupid. I also have a fond memory of Lincoln Elementary. Mrs. Totino is here somewhere. She'll remember this kid. I won't say his name, but he was in the office a lot with me. And he came into the office crying one day. That usually wasn't what was happening. He usually was making people cry. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "So-and-so and I were in the bathroom, and he said, 'I have a big one of these.'" It was hard to tell a second grader he was going to be okay. But that's when I was ahead of the time, ahead of the curve, and we went to single-use bathrooms. And it was awesome. But I walked in on the end of my first year at Lincoln. I walked in on a common practice. I think it was happening in most schools, maybe still in some of your schools does today. Hopefully not in CME, because we've talked about it. But I watched as the teachers had what I could only refer to as sort of like a draft of who was going to get who the next year. And it was honestly disgusting. And I watched it. I didn't know what it was going to turn out to be, but I knew that it had to be corrected. And the way that we were thinking about families and other kids, other people's kids, and, oh, I had that sibling before, and you take this one, and I'll take that one. And I'm not kidding you. The cards were pink and blue. And on the right corner, a right corner clip meant that the kid was trouble, and a left corner clip meant that the parent was trouble. And they would take the cards and they would stack them, and they would look at the corners to make sure they didn't have too much of one. It made me so sad. And we had a really good conversation at Lincoln about how we weren't going to do that and why we weren't going to do that. And it's when I found research from Bob Rosenthal from Harvard, and I've told this story many times, but he believed that the intention that adult has on a child, in this case it was a laboratory rat, really could influence the outcomes for them on a physical task. His research was not intended to be for education, but I saw a nexus right away. And he recruited 20 participants for this study, and he just told them whoever completes this task the fastest with their laboratory rat's going to win a large cash prize. And he got 20 ordinary laboratory rats and put 10 in a box that he labeled smart rat and 10 in a box that he labeled dumb rat. And then he pulled out the participants' names one by one and told them to pick a rat. Well, which ones went first? The smart rats. And then there was a maze that each of them had that was the same, and they were given 30 minutes to practice with the rat. And they were told, whoever rat did the maze the fastest at the end was going to win a cash prize. And then the science kicked in. He had people observe. And for 30 minutes, he watched the handlers of the rats. Those who had smart rats quickly redirected the rat if it got off track. The way they handled the rat was with more care. And they stayed optimistic and positive with their rat. Those who had dumb rats gave up quickly. After a few failed attempts, even were rougher physically with the rat. And right away, I thought of these damn cards. And every fall, our teachers get a whole new classroom of rats. And it became really important to me that we don't put them in a box. That depending on circumstances at home, someone said it earlier, Trudy, one of my expressions is, if not you, who? As the teacher, if not you, who? Education is the great leveling factor. And I'm telling you, parents send us the best they have. They don't keep the good ones at home. They're sending you the best they have. And it's the job of our system to give them all the same opportunity, regardless of the corners being clipped on their card or not. That's our job. And I took that very seriously. I always took seriously the role we have of the care and safety of other people's kids. If you've dropped a kid off at kindergarten, you know what that feels like as a parent. You walk away from the school hoping that they're cared for, that they're loved, that they're safe, that they're treated well, that their teacher's nice. I don't know one parent that walks away from a school going, I hope their kindergarten teacher knows the math standards. And I always kept that in the back of my mind, that I believe that you take care of the child's emotional needs, you take care of their confidence, and the learning part is going to be easier for us. And I want everybody to know that while I've been your superintendent, that's been in the back of my head. Being a superintendent, some of my colleagues are here, thank you so much for coming. It's a pretty lonely job. And as Scott mentioned in his talk, a lot of our successes are the ones that we win that you never know about. It's the thing that doesn't hit a paper. It's the thing that doesn't make social media. God bless Jake Finch, where are you? So, when I got asked to consider being this interim superintendent, I said yes, because I didn't want somebody not from our district to be here for the period of time that the board was looking for the new superintendent. And I have to thank Arlie Kidd and Jeannie Davis and Dan White for, thank you. For not only making a very difficult decision, but for believing in me and telling me that they believed in me. I was really worried about the mechanical things I didn't know about being a superintendent, and for all of you that are thinking about a change in your life, just do it. You're smart enough people to figure out the things you don't know about the mechanics. I had so many people telling me, what are you afraid of? You don't shy away from things. I don't know what I was afraid of. But I appreciate all three of you for taking that chance on me. I wouldn't be here today if that didn't happen, that awkward board meeting. Dan White. And to the board members who'd followed, Eric Lundstrom and Bill Daniels, Mr. Collins, and even Mrs. Sandlin, who never voted for one of my contracts. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate that you're here tonight. And my current board. Dr. Yusuf's doctoral dissertation is on the success of districts and how board and superintendent relations is pivotal in that. I can tell you that as a superintendent in this county, I have been so fortunate to have the school boards that we have had. Our community is so fortunate to have the school boards that we have had. And they have trusted me implicitly. They listen to me. They understand that I am their only employee and everybody else works with me. But I'm grateful to Scott. You were the longest one. You're the only one left from my original days. Dawn, I meant everything that I said about the introduction to you. Dawn has always encouraged me to be me, and she's told me many times that she's so proud of our community that I got to serve as the superintendent as myself. I never dreamed in education that I'd be at a retirement party where my husband could be mentioned in Simi Valley. When I thought about taking this job, several people called me and said, "Are you sure? Isn't that where the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library is?" And I have been so delighted to serve this community who has been wonderful to me and my family. And I think that's a lesson for everybody, that regardless of, what political orientation you may align with, I'm so grateful that I was judged by the quality of my work and nothing else. So thank you, Simi Valley. Our newest board members, Sophia and Kareem, I am so fortunate to have met both of you. Sophia, you have the kindest, most gentle heart of most people I know. And I'm so glad that you decided to run for the school board, and I'm so glad that our community put you in that seat. And Kareem, you're one of the smartest people I know. And you lead with a lot of grace. And it's not been easy for your family in this town all the time either. And I am so also proud of our community for putting you on the school board. Your expertise in areas were obviously important to the board at the time, but you're an outstanding person, and I'm glad to know you and your family. I also want to thank you. Nobody in these jobs exists and does it successfully without their assistance, and the two I have had are here tonight, Tanya and Star. Just two incredible people who kept me sane and kept me organized, and I'm so appreciative of both of you, and it definitely is a partnership with the superintendent in those offices, and so I appreciate that you're here this evening, and Star, I'm looking forward to joining you in retirement. And I know that Tanya will take good care of Hani. The last group of people I need to talk about are my cabinet. I'm going to start with Julie, because I made her life a hell for the last month and a half about this party. But if you know Julie Ellis, she's an extremely hardworking, really bright, competent leader. And I'm really excited for you to move into your new role next year. And I think that it's going to be your wheelhouse. I'm so excited for you. Jamie, Dr. Snodgrass, I'm also glad that you joined our cabinet. And you are someone that I want you to hear this about yourself. You need to show yourself a little grace because you are really, really good at what you do. You are really good at what you do. Mr. Goldman, it's your birthday. If you know Sean, you know his disposition is, he's just one of the best, kindest people that I know. And the care he takes for our special populations is close to home for him, and it shows in his work that he does with our families. And we're very lucky to have you, Sean. And I'm glad you had a heart attack because it got you out of Oxnard. No offense to Oxnard, it's a great place, I'm sure. Jerry Block, we both had the privilege of serving as principals here. And I think that we would share the opinion that we would hope everybody in your career gets an opportunity to be at a school that you love being at so much, like I know we both did here. I'm retiring now, so I can say this, but I would have stayed happy here, the principal, for a long, long time. This was the best stop on my path, this school. But if you know Jerry Block, you know that he's probably going to be the smartest person in the room, and he's also very humble. We have this student information system that we don't get a lot of help from their tech support, but luckily Jerry just reprograms it for us. I'll just write a code for that, and boom, it works. And then I've got Ron and Dan. We go back a long way. I got to do summer school for the first time as a principal with Dan. I think we were co-principals, or I was assistant principal or something, I don't know what. But he wanted to tell this story so badly, I know he did. But the first time I was disciplining a kid at summer school, the kid told me to leave the room, so I did. And Dan goes, "What are you doing in here?" I said, "He told me to leave." I don't need to deal with that. But Dan Houghton has been the most consistent and loyal person that I've known in this time I've had at Simi Valley Schools. I think he's loyal to a fault, but I love him for it. And if you know him on the inside, he comes across pretty gruff, but he's a big marshmallow. And Ron Toto has, obviously working with our board, but has turned the finances of this district around with his team. We should all be really confident with where we are as a district because of the work that he's been able to accomplish. And again, another very smart person that I know I can count on, I know I can trust. And then lastly, I've got Dr. Youssef. As was mentioned, he was the first person I hired to replace myself when I became the superintendent. And he has done absolutely everything right to get himself in the position to take over this district, and partially why I'm comfortable leaving, because I know that it's going to be in good hands. And you have been super gracious with me, honey, when I had to go out with my cancer, and then when I came back and just didn't want to do it anymore. I appreciate you so much, and you're going to do an amazing job for this community. And it's time for him to take a spin and look at it from a different perspective. And they are right. I walk into meetings now and I open a door and I'll go, "Ooh, this sounds really boring," and I'll leave. And I've had a lot of time to think about this day coming, and I keep putting it off. In fact, I tried to write notes for tonight, and every time I would start, I couldn't do it. And I would get upset or emotional, and Tanya would say, go take a walk. And I have cleaned out my office because I'm leaving next week to go to Michigan to open our home up so that it's ready for us when we go in June. And it's odd to think that tomorrow when I leave, it's likely going to be the last time I leave with a real place to be when I'm there. And I asked for clarity this summer about this decision. And you know how like in life when you ask for clarity and then you don't always listen when it comes? I got it this summer. My dad nearly passed away. Rick and I have a very good friend who's about my age who died of a heart attack. And then my cancer came back. And I listened. And I am excited for the district. I'm sad in one way to be leaving, but I'm super confident that you all are going to take it to the next level. And there are so many people in the room that mean so much to me. And I'm so appreciative that you're all here. And I want you to know that, yes, we charged you $30, but all the money is going to the arts programs at our schools. And I'm just going to end with this little saying, is that I told the board when they asked me to be the superintendent, I said, do I get to be the superintendent as me? Because I don't hide my family, I don't hide who I am. I play on a gay softball team. Where are my softball teammates? Yay. If you don't know who they are, they're with all the hot guys sitting at one table outside. But I said, I won't say yes to this, and you shouldn't ask me if that's not okay. And I've gotten more and more comfortable in my skin. Retirement was a challenge because when you're growing up and you struggle with your identity, not knowing what I will be after being an educator is a very familiar button. And I got confirmation from the board that they wanted me to be the superintendent, and since that day, I tried to stand fully in my light so that people in our organization, our kids, our staff, knew it was safe for them to do the same. And I'm really proud of that, and I'm really proud of our community for supporting that. And all the garbage you hear about what schools are doing and not doing are usually from people who haven't been in a classroom for 60 years. It's usually on social media. And so I'm going to tell you this. Public schools and teachers and administrators are not your enemy. They're doing what's best for kids and families, and we do not need to be pointing arrows at them. We need to be supporting them and lifting them up. And the ugliness that's happening, around the narrative of schools all over the country. Can you imagine? I couldn't even be standing on this stage in other states right now and saying what I just said about myself. What message does that send to kids? And I'm not just talking about that topic. So I encourage everybody to stand fully in your light so that people around you know they can do the same. And I'm so humbled and grateful that you all came tonight. It's been a wonderful journey, and I look forward to the next phase. And all I can say is that everybody sitting out there right now means something to me. And to the kids who came back, oh my gosh. I know every one of your names as you walked out, and I about died. So I want to thank you all. I know we went late, but guess what? I'm doing this one time, and you had to sit through it. Thank you all.
Dreaming of I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes a sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Well, maybe that we may never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now, whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend.
Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you,
Because I knew you,
I have been changed for good.
just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done. You blame me for.
And I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. It pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew